Hello there YouTube, it's your boy B3, back with another kicking, you guessed it, action figure review. Today, we're looking at another Marvel Universe figure and another Iron Man adjacent figure. Not quite Iron Man though. This is the Hasbro Marvel Universe Iron Patriot. It's 019 or 19 in the Marvel Universe line. And I picked up this guy years ago, originally for my 3 3/4 inch Iron Man collection. I have a huge 3 3/4 inch Iron Man collection that I am selling off now because I don't collect 3 3/4 inch anymore. And they have a rule: to buy a figure, I have to sell a figure. And, you know, these guys have just been in a box for a while. But yeah, I had like a Hall of Armors display. And he was going to be added to the Hall of Armors, even though this is not Tony Stark, it's not Jim Rhodes, it's Norman Osborn from the Brian Michael Bendis Dark Avengers run, which I love. I love it. I love the Dark Avengers so much. And Norman, you know, when he took control of S.H.I.E.L.D. and made it Hammer, he got everything Tony left behind, including a vault full of armors. So he has the Extremis armor here, which he's kind of remodeled to be Iron Patriot and not Iron Man. So he's kind of trying to invoke the security of Iron Man, but also the inspiration of Captain America at the same time. That's what he's going for. So this is the Marvel Universe Extremis Iron Man figure with a star instead of a triangle on the chest and a new paint job. If you have the Marvel Universe Extremis Iron Man, I'm actually selling my 2-pack one with a Thor as well, which I recently reviewed. If you have that Extremis Iron Man, you basically have this figure and know what to expect. If you do not, let's get into it. So first off, let's talk about paint. This era of 3 3/4 inch figures was painted so well. I actually really miss 3 3/4 inch figures like that. The fact that they don't make this scale like this anymore is kind of why I stopped collecting 3 3/4 inch. Because I don't dislike the scale, but they just don't make them like this anymore. Look at all this beautiful paint. It's metallic all over, fully painted on the back. Metallic red, metallic silver, metallic blue. The only non-metallic paint is the black that fills in some of the lines, which is a great detail that kind of makes his face look a little darker, a little edgier, a little more evil. And also the yellow in his eyes, duller, you know, less hopeful. So yeah, great artistic choices on the paint for this guy. Really love it. They even have most of the pegs and stuff the same color. See, like that's a blue peg and a red peg. A lot of figures would just do 2 blue pegs or 2 red pegs, but the pegs match the colors of the part of the figure that they're in. That's really cool. Also, fully painted and detailed bottom of the feet. Repainted, look at that, painted repulsors on the bottom of the feet. And both hands have painted repulsors, including the closed hand. Very cool. That's excellent paint. That's good work, folks. Articulation-wise, his head looks all the way up, so you can get a great flying pose out of this guy. Really incredible one. Slight wobble, you know I like a wobble on the head, and side to side as well. The shoulders articulate, which helps the arms come up more. If you try to force it, the shoulders could pop off, so don't do that. You don't want your shoulders going flying. But a good rotation, bicep swivel, single elbow bend, and wrist rotation. You also have a really excellent torso joint. Just actually excellent, so that can help him get into an even better flying pose. You have in and out on the legs, slightly hindered by these discs. Forward a good bit. You do have to kind of turn them. They are a little stiff. And I think that's the sculpt too, because my Extremis ones are as well. And they don't really go back, partially because of the hard plastic bussy, but also just partly because of the way these thick thighs are attached. They have to kind of stick out to the side to go back. You do have a really good thigh swivel. It's like a big sexy boot swivel. A great double knee bend. You have a little up and down on the feet, not too much back, but enough, you know, and a great bit of up. Really nice. And then the side to side isn't as hindered by the boots as you'd think it would be. So yeah, he's got some pretty good articulation for a 3 3/4 inch figure, especially since this guy's over a decade old at this point. He's an aged figure. He really is. The star on his chest is a little crooked. And the triangle on my Extremis Iron Man's chest is very crooked. So I don't know why they couldn't get something on the chest of this sculpt not crooked. I can't explain that. Don't ask me to. I can't. Accessory-wise, he comes with a stand. The Marvel Universe figures, many of them came with these stands with the name. At least his name is correct. The Scarlet Spider stand says Spider-Man, and it's only 5 before this one. It's 014. But this one actually has Iron Patriot, so it's actually correct. He does peg into it very, very well. I had him displayed on it in my Hall of Armors display because all my Iron Man 2 figures were on stands. So he looks pretty great. He also comes with this. I don't have any other Marvel Universe figures that come with something like this. So it's actually kind of odd. It's a top secret hammer file. You open it up. That's the tape that was originally on it. You open it up. There's more in here than just that. I think I got it all. Yeah. And you have this furyfiles.com code. I'm not sure anybody ever did that. And then this, like, trading card, kind of. Cool. It looks cool. And it's so interesting. And it's like a really stylized ID card for the Superhuman Registration Act. Norman Osborn, Iron Patriot. Very cool. I do highly recommend this Dark Avengers run. There's only really been 2, I think. And then this, like, hammer file. Yeah. You can try to pause and read this if you would like. Very cool. It is top secret. It looks like it's from AIM, but maybe Hammer acquired it. Whatever. I'm not super hyped on these. I mean, they're fine, but they aren't really a selling point for me, you know? But it is interesting that I don't have this kind of thing with any of my other Marvel Universe figures. I wonder if any others came with stuff like this. And then he has this accessory. A lot of Marvel Universe Iron Man and Iron Man adjacent-y kind of figures came with this kind of cone blast. It just kind of pops onto the wrist. It's really tough, but it can get on there. So yeah, he can fire his repulsor blasts at anyone that he deems a foe. And then if that doesn't work, he'll just sick the sentry on him, like he always does. And now it's time for everybody's favorite part of these reviews. Size comparisons. Yeah, so here is the Iron Patriot with another figure from his line, the Marvel Universe Thanos, here on the left. This is the single-carded version. And they look pretty good together. The Dark Avengers could have handled Thanos, mostly just because of Moonstone and Sentry. Really mostly because of Sentry. But yeah, that's it. The rest of them, no chance. But, especially comic Thanos. But, here on the right, we have actually a figure from my favorite 3 3/4 inch toy line of all time. It is the Hasbro Iron Man 2 movie series Mark II Iron Man armor, which I will be reviewing at some point soon. All 3 of these figures will be for sale. I'm not sure what figures are going to eBay and what figures are going to my physical store. Sometimes they go back and forth depending on what's selling where. We're just going to have to see. But yeah, he looks good with his own line and with other 3 3/4 inch Marvel lines of the same time. So, well, time period, you know what I mean. It's hard to imagine that these figures are older for some of us adult fans, but they are older. And dusty because they just replastered my roof, and I keep finding dust in the crevices of all my figures, a little white dust, and it's... And for the sake of reference, here he is with the Hasbro Marvel Legends 6-inch SPDR Build-A-Figure Wave Kane Scarlet Spider. This is the second Kane Scarlet Spider Hasbro made. And obviously they don't scale well together, but this is just so you'll know how they'll look together in a Marvel display if you mix scales. 1/12 and I think 1/18. So what are my final thoughts on the Hasbro Marvel Universe Iron Patriot 019 figure? Well, I actually think he's pretty cool. I really like him. The Marvel Universe line was a great line, one of the greatest 3 3/4 inch lines to ever exist. And it is a shame that it didn't make it as long as the Marvel Legends. I'm still not sure I would be collecting them. One of the main reasons I stopped collecting this scale is because they stopped making Marvel figures in this scale that were any good. Now they're basically just hunks of plastic, sometimes with a weird gimmick. And I don't mind the gimmicks and stuff. Sometimes they make for fun accessories or cool looks, but I like stuff that can pose a little more. I want my figures to have either a bunch of articulation or basically none. You know, there's... If it has basically none, it also needs to look really good. And that's the thing about current Marvel 3 3/4 inch stuff. It doesn't have good articulation and it doesn't look good. I guess kids might have fun with them, but I sure see a lot on clearance racks. Just saying. But yeah, I mean, he's a really cool figure. I do hate to sell him, especially since I love the Dark Avengers. I'm not selling my 6-inch, however. I'm keeping my 6-inch Iron Patriot from the Iron Man 3 line. You can check out that review if you would like. Also, subscribe if you want to see me review Thanos and the Mark II Iron Man. And I have already reviewed that Scarlet Spider. So thank you all very much for your support. If you want to buy this guy, check out the links below, and I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.